At some point in our lives, each of us will be confronted with the challenge of embarking on a journey of self-discovery and self-affirmation. When viewed in this light, one of the most important aspects is gaining the ability to set personal boundaries and comprehend the significance of the word no. Quite frequently, we find ourselves caught in the pattern of giving priority to the requirements and wishes of other people, which frequently comes at the expense of our own interests and well-being. The purpose of this reflection is to investigate the dynamics that are behind this behavior, with the expectation of highlighting the significance of recognizing and respecting our own limits. We are going to talk about how the act of removing oneself from unhealthy relationships or situations is not only a powerful expression of self-respect and autonomy, but also a powerful gesture of self-preservation. Throughout the entirety of this text, we will investigate the many different aspects of this process. Before we begin, please make sure that your subscription is active and that you feel free to leave a comment about your perspective while watching the video. Taking into consideration the fact that the ability to say no and to keep a clear direction in life can transform our relationships with ourselves and with other people, ultimately leading to a more straightforward and satisfying existence. Let's get started. There is a phenomenon that is both fascinating and quite common: the propensity of many people to devote their time and energy to the service of others, frequently going beyond their own capabilities and requirements in the process. However, what is the underlying cause of this behavior? One possible explanation is that it is an internal search for personal validation or a profound yearning to be valued and accepted. Alternatively, it's possible that these people think that how other people view them directly affects their sense of self-worth. If you care too much about what other people think, you may find yourself falling into a trap because of your excessive concern with how other people perceive you. Taking this step puts you in danger of losing your own identity. It is as if your very existence is contingent on the approval of other people, and you end up becoming a reflection of the expectations and opinions of other people. A vicious cycle of unrelenting pursuit of recognition and approval can result from this, which can be exhausting and in many instances lead to negative consequences. A variety of different causes and motivations are what are driving this acceptance journey. It is possible that some people have a lack of confidence in their own worth and rely on the approval of others to feel worthy. Some people may have been raised in environments where love and attention were contingent on meeting the expectations of others, which may have led them to believe that this was the only way to be loved or respected. On the other hand, it is of the utmost importance to acknowledge that the persistent pursuit of the approval of others can be a path that is both lonely and unsatisfying. Attempting to fill a void within oneself with something that is perpetually out of reach is analogous to this. It is possible that the key to breaking this cycle lies in cultivating a more positive relationship with each individual, acquiring the ability to value your own opinions and requirements. This allows one to start down the path toward greater authenticity and personal satisfaction with the opinions of others, which is something that can be accomplished by doing so. However, it is only a single component of the whole, and it is not the determining factor of a person's happiness and self-esteem. All of us at some point in our lives will find ourselves volunteering our time and energy to help other people. But what causes this to take place? Do you have a strong yearning to be appreciated, or are you looking for ways to affirm your own worth? It is possible for us to become true hosts of these judgments. If we are overly concerned with the opinions of other people in the event that you frequently find yourself in this predicament, I would like to share with you an effective method that will allow you to reclaim your independence and self-esteem. It is common practice to refer to this tactic as walking away. Although it might appear to be a bit abrupt, there are certain situations in which it is an essential step to take in order to reaffirm your personal power. Throughout our lives, we come into contact with a wide variety of people. A few individuals do not respect boundaries, others are cruel and self-centered, or they are overly dependent on others. You will not only strengthen your independence by demonstrating to these individuals that you are willing to walk away, but you will also regain control over your own life while doing so. Two fundamental pillars contribute to the strength and power of walking away from a situation. Your life should be characterized by the presence of a clear direction and the ability to say no. It is likely that you struggle with refusing requests and a lack of a clearly defined purpose. If you have a tendency to become engrossed in the desires of other people, or even worse, if you feel used or abused, having a well-defined objective demonstrates to the world that you place a high value on your time and consequently your life. You will naturally be further removed from circumstance in which your boundaries are violated. As a result of this, you will have less of a need to seek approval from other people if you maintain your focus on your path. It is important to keep in mind that walking away is not only a physical action but also a mentality of respect and self-worth. Taking this stance is a powerful way to communicate with others. Your life is entirely under your control. I'm appreciative of the time you have taken to engage in this contemplation. The act of walking away may appear to be a harsh move. However, there are certain circumstances in which it becomes an essential action to take in order to assert one's autonomy in a particular scenario. During the course of our lives, we come into contact with an infinite number of individuals. Although some of these interactions are fleeting, like leaves blowing in the wind, others have a profound impact on our hearts and become ingrained there. Each and every interaction, regardless of how brief or long it may be, leaves its own distinct mark on our individual narrative. Taking a step back is not always an easy decision to make. Most of the time it is accompanied by a combination of emoticons, which are a mixture of relief and a hint of melancholy. On the other hand, it is essential to keep in mind that taking charge of our own story is a manifestation of maturity and self-awareness. A crucial ability for constructing a life that is authentic and fulfilling is the ability to recognize when it is time to part ways and when it is time to say goodbye. This decision might appear self-centered to some people in certain circumstances. On the other hand, moving away from situations or people that no longer resonate with our values or aspirations is an act of self-preservation that we can perform. By doing so, we create space for fresh opportunities, ease, and experiences that enrich us. This journey of self-discovery is a mosaic-like collection of encounters and goodbyes, each of which adds a different hue to the overall picture of our existence. These moments of departure, despite the fact that they can be painful at times, are essential for our development. These experiences teach us about our boundaries, our desires, and most importantly, who we are in our truest form. I have high hopes that by sharing these reflections, I will be able to pique the interest and curiosity of my audience, thereby encouraging them to examine their own stories from a fresh perspective that is brimming with opportunities and to gain knowledge from the many different people who come into our lives. There are some that present particularly difficult challenges when it comes to comprehending and honoring personal boundaries. Some people have a tendency to be overly dependent on us, to become overly attached to us, and to demand an excessive amount of our time and energy. These interactions, despite the fact that they are frequently carried out with good intentions, can become exhausting, making the relationship more unbalanced than is necessary. On the other hand, there are some people who we might put into the category of being unpleasant and having ill intentions. Sadly, these are the individuals who, in all honesty, view their interactions with other people as a chance to manipulate and exploit them in order to belittle other people. They may engage in cruel behavior such as using sarcasm, criticism, or abusive behaviors. Their main objective is to advance their own interests without taking into account the welfare of other people. In spite of the fact that they are difficult, these negative interactions present opportunities for valuable learning. They educate us on the significance of establishing and preserving healthy boundaries in our everyday lives for the sake of our mental well-being and personal growth. It is essential that we acquire the ability to recognize and manage individuals with such personalities. This teaches us to be assertive, to stand up for our values, and to not allow other people to treat us in a manner that is harmful or disrespectful on any occasion. We are sending a powerful message to both ourselves and to those who do not respect our boundaries. When we make the conscious decision to put some distance between ourselves and those who do not respect our boundaries. Because of this attitude, it is abundantly clear that we are not the property of anyone else, and that we have the freedom and authority to choose who comes into our lives. In addition to being an act of self-affirmation, this withdrawal gesture is also an important step in the process of regaining control over our own capabilities and well-being as a form of self-defense and preservation. This decision to put some distance between us can be interpreted as a choice when we remove ourselves from relationships or people who are harmful to our mental and emotional well-being. We are helping to maintain our mental and emotional health. Both our personal space and our own personal development are receiving a high level of importance. The fact that we are the primary agents of our own happiness and inner peace is brought to our attention by this. In addition, This action has the potential to have a significant impact on individuals who have a tendency to cross boundaries more frequently. The opportunity to recognize the impact of their actions and possibly initiate changes in their behavior can be provided to them as a call to reflection and as a chance to take advantage of this opportunity. These two fundamental pillars, in fact, reinforce the power of walking away from something. The self-assured presentation of information and the unmistakable sense of purpose to begin the powerful tool that is the word no in the art of setting boundaries is the word no. Simply put, it is straightforward and efficient. Your needs, preferences, and limits are communicated in a clear and concise manner when you say no. For the sake of maintaining relationships that are both healthy and respectful, this act of self-affirmation is absolutely necessary. It is a declaration of independence that demonstrates that you are in charge of the decisions and actions that you take by yourself. It is more than just a refusal to say no, a demonstration of selfless act and self-awareness. This is an act. It gives us the ability to reject situations that make us unhappy, commitments that put an excessive amount of strain on us, and behaviors that show disrespect for us. Utilizing this word in a manner that is both assertive and respectful is a manifestation of one's inner fortitude and self-assurance. Second direction is the component that assists us in getting to the destination that we have set for ourselves, both in a literal and figurative sense. In order to have a sense of purpose in life, it is necessary to have goals, aspirations, and a direction in life. If you are aware of your destination, it will be much simpler for you to make decisions and select courses of action that are congruent with your preferences and goals. When we have direction, we are able to concentrate, which enables us to avoid distractions and negative influences. A powerful combination is formed by having both knowledge and direction. While no one can shield us from unwelcome influences from the outside world, direction is what keeps us on the right track to accomplishing our objectives and realizing our dreams. When it comes to upholding our personal integrity and pursuing a course of action that is uniquely ours, these two theories are absolutely essential if you find that you are frequently giving in to the whims of other people, or if in more extreme cases you are being exploited, manipulated, or abused by other people. This may be an indication that you have difficulty not saying no, and that you do not have a clear direction in your life. These are indicators of impending danger that require careful consideration and thought. When we are unable to say no, it is frequently because we are trying to avoid conflict by trying to please other people, or because we are under the impression that our own wants and needs are less important than those of other people. In spite of the fact that this behavior may at first appear to be harmless, it can actually result in a cycle of self-doubt, and resentment, as well as create an environment that is conducive to being used or abused. On the other hand, a lack of direction can be the result of a number of factors, including a lack of self-awareness, uncertainties, or a fear of pursuing our true interests without there being a clear direction to follow. It is easy to allow the objectives and will of other people to have an impact on us, which prevents us from living a life that is truly our own. The first step toward change is to become aware of these patterns that are present within oneself. Developing a healthy sense of self-esteem and awareness of oneself is the first step. Recognizing the things that we truly value and the things that we want for our lives. It is from that point that we can begin to practice being assertive. The ability to say no when it is required, as well as the ability to establish and pursue our own goals and aspirations. As a matter of fact, a less firm and assertive stance can be the result of a lack of clear direction in life, as well as an inability to say something negative. When we are not firmly rooted in our own principles and goals, we are more likely to be swayed by the influence and interests of other people. The lack of firmness that you exhibit can be perceived by other people, and unfortunately, in some instances, it can be exploited. It is possible that individuals will feel encouraged to impose their own wills and goals on another person when they observe that the individual in question lacks purpose and direction. This can take place in a more subtle or overt manner. Nevertheless, the outcome is the same. It is possible that you will end up living a life that is more of a reflection of the expectations and desires of other people than of your own personal goals and objectives. It is essential to emphasize that having a direction in life does not imply following a rigid plan or having a vision of the future that cannot be altered. It means having a sense of purpose, being aware of the things that are significant to you, and making choices that are in accordance with the values and goals that you have set for yourself. It is possible to navigate the complexities and challenges of life with the assistance of a guide and an internal compass that is provided by direction. On the other hand, the ability to say no is an act of self-affirmation that one cannot be denied. Recognizing and honoring your own limitations, needs, and desires is what it means to do this. When you say no, you are not simply rejecting something that you do not want. This is also an affirmation of who you are and the things that you hold dear. People have the potential to begin viewing the time of another individual as less valuable than their own. When they observe that the individual in question is not committed to achieving their personal goals, it is possible that this perception will result in a destructive dynamic in which it is expected of you to put the requirements and wishes of other people ahead of your own. When you find yourself in such a circumstance, not only does it weaken the significance of your time and efforts, but it also has the potential to create a pattern in which your own objectives and ambitions are consistently given less priority. There's a possibility that this dynamic is not done with malicious intent, and it can be subtle. On the other hand, it perpetuates the notion that the requirements of other people are more significant, which can result in a cycle of neglecting one's own needs. In the event that you devote the majority of your time to fulfilling the requirements of other people, you run the risk of missing out on the chance to make an investment in yourself and your own objectives. This circumstance demonstrates how essential it is to cultivate a sense of purpose and direction in one's thinking for the purpose of establishing healthy boundaries and making decisions that are reflective of your own priorities. Having clear personal goals can be of great assistance. This does not mean that you should disregard the requirements of other people. Rather, it means that you should find a way to help other people while also taking care of yourself. On top of that, it is essential to acquire the ability to value your own time and efforts. Acknowledging your own value and the significance of your own objectives is a necessary step in this process. Learning to value oneself is a great way to teach others to do the same. From the point of view of those who believe that other people are less dedicated to their own goals, that may come up. The idea that by devoting time to them in order to fulfill their requirements, you are, in a sense, making use of your time in a way that is beneficial to serve their interests. This perspective is problematic due to the fact that it places the value of your time and efforts solely in the context of their usefulness to other people, rather than in relation to your own satisfaction and personal development. The belief that your value is inextricably linked to your capacity to be of service to other people is one that can result from adopting this frame of mind, rather than acknowledging the value that you possess as an individual. Inherent to you, a strategy like this not only diminishes the significance of your own goals and requirements, but it also has the potential to result in a decline in your sense of self-worth and a sense of discontentment with your journey through life. It is of the utmost importance to acknowledge that being of assistance to other people is merely one of the many ways in which you can make your time valuable. Putting in effort to achieve your own objectives is another way in which the true value of your time becomes apparent. You are embarking on a journey of significant self-appreciation when you take care of yourself or simply engage in activities that bring you joy and satisfaction, and when you devote yourself to a personal goal in a way that is both intense and intentional. This commitment not only demonstrates that you have a distinct understanding of what is most important to you, but it also comes across as a reaffirmation of the importance of your time and life, indicating that every minute is valuable and ought to be utilized in a manner that is both thoughtful and significant. This stance sends a powerful signal not only to yourself, but also to those who are in your immediate vicinity. How other people view you is fundamentally altered as a result of your decision to live with a purpose that is crystal clear. People start to perceive someone as someone who is able to make deliberate decisions regarding how they spend their time. A person who is not available is susceptible to being consumed by the whims of other people without selection. If you are seen as an individual with your own desires, ambitions, and passions rather than as a resource that is available to other people, you will be perceived as an individual committing to your objectives comes with a number of significant benefits. In the first place, there is a feeling of genuineness and commitment. Your actions and decisions start to reflect the values and beliefs that you hold on the inside, which gives you a sense of living a life that is genuine and authentic. In the second place, this commitment helps to cultivate an increase in self-respect, which in turn leads to an increase in the respect that others have for you. When you show that you value your own time, you naturally teach other people to recognize the importance of their own time. In addition, this mindset of dedication has the potential to serve as a source of motivation for those who are in your immediate vicinity and who observe the efforts you put forth and the results that result from those efforts. You set a good example for others to follow, inspiring them to pursue their own dreams and to follow their enthusiasms. Additionally, there is the essential component of establishing healthy boundaries by devoting yourself to the accomplishment of your objectives. One acquires the ability to decline requests that are not in accordance with one's priorities, ensuring that you are able to satisfy both your own needs and the needs of others in a healthy combination. Furthermore, walking away from situations in which your boundaries are violated or in which you are subjected to abuse is an effective strategy that can be accomplished by keeping your attention on your personal goals and aspirations. When it comes to various aspects of life such as the workplace, marital relationships, or even friendships, the ability to avoid potentially harmful environments is of the utmost importance in the context of your professional life. For example, having a distinct sense of direction can assist you in recognizing when a situation at work is becoming toxic or detrimental. This could be the result of coworkers who do not respect your boundaries, or an excessive and unbalanced workload in order to maintain your mental health and advance in your career. It is important to be aware of when and how to take a step back when it comes to personal relationships, such as marriages or friendships. The ability to remain true to one's own goals and values is a useful tool for determining when these relationships are becoming harmful or one-sided. Recognize kissing and admitting that a close relationship is causing more harm than good can be a challenging task at times. You will, however, become more adept at recognizing when it is time to withdraw and seek out environments and relationships that are healthier and more balanced. If you concentrate on your own needs and goals, the ability to remove oneself from a situation is not merely a means of protecting oneself. Moreover, it is an act of respect for oneself, recognizing your own value and coming to terms with the fact that you are deserving of being in situations and relationships that are respectful and mutually beneficial are both necessary steps. Through the incorporation of these ideas into a story, the message that is communicated is one of self-defense and empowerment. Readers are prompted to contemplate the significance of safeguarding themselves against potentially hazardous circumstances and to acknowledge the value of actively seeking out environments that foster their well-being and provide opportunities for personal development. Being focused on your own path has the effect of reducing the amount of concern that you allow yourself to have for the affairs and opinions of other people. You will find that the need to seek approval from others is significantly reduced when you focus on yourself. You start to realize that the only person you really need to prove anything to is yourself. This realization is a significant one. The kind of self-knowledge and self-confidence that is described here is liberating and essential to the process of constructing a life that is genuine and satisfying. Moving away from people who are abusive and environments that are destructive is a powerful way to protect your integrity and self-respect. This is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it is a sign of strength and conscious awareness of oneself for the purpose of preventing your mental health and well-being from being negatively impacted by toxic situations or relationships. You have made the decision to take action. Additionally, this attitude conveys a very clear message to the world that is all around you. You are the one who is in charge of your life on your own. You decide who is deserving of your time and effort. This does not imply that you do not care about your partnerships, friends, or family members. On the contrary, it demonstrates that you are not dependent on your relationships for your happiness or sense of self-worth, despite the fact that you love and value them. By establishing and upholding healthy boundaries, you can demonstrate that you respect yourself and that you expect others to respect you in the same manner. A powerful message can be conveyed in the context of business negotiations. By adopting the stance of walking away from the situation where negotiations are taking place, although you are interested in the deal, this attitude conveys to the other parties involved that you have other options available to you and that you are not entirely reliant on that particular deal for advancement in the context of negotiations. This is an example of a demonstration of confidence and an abundance mindset, both of which can be extremely influential qualities. Having a large amount of money, a large number of possessions, or a large social circle is not necessarily necessary in order to have an abundance mindset. Instead, it is about having an internal perspective, which is a state of contentment and confidence in one's ability to achieve and create opportunity for oneself. When you operate from this perspective, you exude a sense of self-assurance and self-sufficiency, which can be very appealing to other people and persuasive to them. Personal relationships are another area in which this idea is applicable. Understanding that you do not require other people in your life for your own happiness or sense of worth is essential, despite the fact that it is natural and important to love and value the people in your life. By having this understanding, you will be able to establish relationships that are not overly dependent on negotiation, which will allow you to create healthier and more balanced relationships. In many cases, the most powerful position is the one that is willing to step away and take the situation seriously. This is due to the fact that it demonstrates that you are making a deliberate choice rather than acting out of desperation or necessity by being prepared to leave the negotiating table if the conditions are not favorable. You are able to keep your composure and integrity throughout the situation. This stance not only improves your chances of achieving a favorable outcome, but it also guarantees that you will continue to be in a position of power regardless of the outcome. You will be successful if you uphold your standards and respect the boundaries you set for yourself. It would be greatly appreciated if you would give this content a like to receive additional Stoic wisdom. Subscribe to the channel and feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. Maintain your composure and I'll see you shortly.